we've got something a little bit different to talk about, and we're going to be talking about the national curriculum. And as a tutor, do you need to know the national curriculum inside out? Very big question, I think this is.
Yeah.
And I could argue both ways, I think. So my yes argument is, of course, you need to know the curriculum. You know, you're supporting children in schoolwork a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But then my no is that you're doing so much more than the curriculum. And actually, the curriculum's there, but I think for a tutor, the curriculum's there as a tool. It's a tool that you use, but you have lots of other tools that you're using as well. And you're using it very differently, aren't you? Because if you were using the curriculum in school, it's something that you've got to go through. Whereas if you're using the curriculum when tutoring, you might be working with a child who's in year 5, but accessing some parts of the year 3 curriculum, then actually in some areas dipping into the year 6 curriculum, and mainly working on the year 5 curriculum. So I guess I view it a little bit more like a pick and mix, being able to pick out the parts you want to use and that each child needs, each student needs, you know, because it doesn't have to go with their age-related expectations. You can very much work for that child and what they need from the curriculum and how they need the curriculum to work for them.
Definitely so. Oh yeah, I love the pick and mix approach. Definitely so. I'd add that as a tagline for tutors, the pick and mix approach.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, not all tutors use the curriculum at all. If you're working with children, you know, some home educated children aren't using the national curriculum. They don't follow the national curriculum. That's not what they're doing. Or they might follow a different curriculum. There are home educating curriculums out there as well. And I think what's important is just knowing your stuff for each child. So, you know, knowing how that family works, knowing what their goals are, and then working on their goals. Because if their goals are to build confidence, then you're using the curriculum to do that, but the importance isn't progressing through the curriculum. If their goal is to get into a grammar school or an independent school, they might then actually be working on the 11 plus, and your non-verbal reasoning and your verbal reasoning elements, they're not on the national curriculum. So although the national curriculum is going to support it with vocabulary and your maths concepts, you're straying from the curriculum there again. So it's not your core material, is it? It's a tool you've got in your toolkit, I think, that you can use, but you don't have to use it.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. It's not like your be all and end all, is it? No one's going to come in and quiz you if say what specifically will they be doing in spring term 1 week 4 in this topic. Which, like you say, is the really nice freedom that you can get, because it is really can be very restrictive for some educators and things like that. But like you say, and often it can move at such a fast pace, not in all settings, and often then those children who, I'm going to pick a topic like time, you know, they did time in a short space of time, and then they need to go back to it. And maybe, like you said, it's an older student, but they didn't quite grasp it when they first started it in year 2, and there's always been that gap. And so to get them ready before they hit year 6, you're gonna go through all of time and pick up on those things. And like you say, that's what you do as a tutor, isn't it? You have the pick and mix approach, and it's nice. And then before you know it, that's becomes part of your resources and things like that. Like you say, you're not contained just to one.
Actually, I guess in a way, your curriculum knowledge is even more important then, because to use it as a pick and mix, you need to know where you're looking. You know, if you identify a student has a gap with something, you need to know, okay, we're going back to year 2 because that's where that started. You know, because there's a lot covered in the national curriculum, which I think is one of the things people find challenging with it in the classroom sometimes. You know, like you said, it often has to move at a fast pace. But if you don't know the curriculum, you don't know where you need to go back to, you don't know what those gaps are. So, you know, to be able to use it with that pick and mix and have that flexibility, it's flexibility, isn't it? I think mix is a lovely term, but it's flexible because you can bounce around within the curriculum. But you can also teach it in your own way, you know. And I think what's lovely with tutoring is you've got your curriculum methods, but if a child really is struggling with that, you can give another one a go. You know, you can show them another method, and actually that might be the thing that it's like the light bulb switching on in their mind. Oh yeah. And it's like everything's unlocked and everything falls into place, and they might then get the curriculum method, they might not, they might like to stick with your method and you know what they've been doing. But in some scenarios, you know, if it's a skill that they need to have, you've got that flexibility, haven't you, to make it as they need it to be. But yeah, I think the curriculum is important, but in a different way to how it is in the classroom. And I think it's a lovely way that you can demonstrate progress as well to parents, you know, and show them the objectives that their child might have off or completed. But I think alongside the curriculum, you need to identify those other areas too, don't you? Celebrating the confidence that that child's grown in. The moment that they've put their hand up in class for the first time because they feel that they know what they're doing. And for some students as well, just enjoying learning. And they're all things that sit outside of the national curriculum. But as a tutor, you're adding to every single session and making such a difference there as well. So I think our key takeaway from this one is the curriculum, the national curriculum, it is important. Whatever curriculum the children you're working with are following, it is important to have that knowledge. It is important to use it where appropriate, but it's not the only thing that's important. There are so many other areas that you want to make sure you're using those as well, and really giving that child, that young person, the best learning experience that they could have, whatever that looks like for them.